Hey my ninja warriors, welcome to yet another power packed session. I am Namrata, your mathematics expert, and we are doing JEE Flash 2.0 Vector Algebra, which is one of the high weighted chapter again. So before I start any further, do let me know whether I am perfectly audible and visible to you guys. Along with that, do share this link with your friends, with your fellow JEE aspirants, so that we can expect maximum interaction, maximum doubts over here. All right, in the chat box, I can see Yusuf over here. Black caps again, as usual on time. Pratyusha, Rishi, Gothram Raj, also audible and visible. All right. Thank you for telling me, letting me know that I'm perfectly live. And let's just begin with today's session. But before I start, as usual, I always tell you that do give me this 2 to 3 hours without any distraction. Give me and this particular session undivided attention. So bring your water bottles, pen and notebook, you, me and vector algebra, right? Yes? All right. Are we set? All set? Okay. All right. So you can see this week's schedule as it's visible on the screen. So here we have a chemistry session at 10 p.m. today. Along with that, tomorrow we have chemistry and physics, and on Friday we have a session at 9 p.m. wherein we'll be discussing previous year questions from vector and 3D geometry. Right? Shall we start? Okay, we are already late, so no time for any delay. Let's just begin today's session. All right, so let's talk about scalar and vector quantities both. Right, before I begin with vector, let me just give you a brief about scalar quantity. Right, what is a scalar quantity? Can you guys write in the chat box? What is a scalar quantity? And what is a vector quantity? So scalar quantities are those which has only magnitude, right? Only magnitude. For example, magnitude. For example, we have basic examples. For example, distance. We can say speed as well, right? Speed, distance are what? Scalar quantity, because it has only magnitude, only the numerical value. But vector quantities are those quantities which have magnitude, right? Magnitude as well as direction both, right? But is this a perfect definition of a vector quantity? Is this a necessary and sufficient condition? That's what my question is. By the way, let me give you some example. For example, displacement, you can call displacement as a vector quantity because it has numerical value, that is magnitude, and displacement has a certain direction as well. Along with that, we have velocity, right? So velocity is nothing but speed along with the direction, right? You have studied velocity in physics in detail. You have already studied velocity in physics in detail, so I'll not get into that. Okay, I can see. Beautiful answers. Yes, we will discuss PYQs as well. है ना, honey? We will discuss concepts plus questions as well. Do not worry about that. Okay. And the session will be approximately 2.2 to 3 hours longer. Okay. We will only everything you need to write, which I am writing, you need to write it in your notebook, right? All right. Now, I have a question for you. Is force a vector quantity? What do you think? Now you know the definition of scalar quantity and vector quantity. Can you tell me, is force a vector quantity? What do you think? So if I talk about force, that means in layman terms that I am pushing something or I am applying some, you can say some force in any particular direction as well, right? The moment I see push, so you will ask me what to push, where to push, right? So force is definitely a vector quantity, right? And how do you represent force in physics? You all know that if we have a block and if I apply force over here, this block will move towards the right hand side. But if I apply a force from this side, it will not move actually, right? So force is a vector quantity, that's what we know. Okay, and along with that, why are we saying this? Why are we saying this? Because force, that means, so if I say 2 Newton, force is equals to 2 Newton, right? Force is equals to 2 Newton if I say. Force is equals to, if I say 2 Newton, then magnitude is there, of course, but direction is also there. That's why I am saying that this is a vector quantity, right? Okay, and what about angle now? What do you think? Angle is a vector quantity or not? Is angle a vector quantity? Is angle a vector quantity? No, we are not going to cover 3D. We will have a separate session for 3D geometry. Angle is, my dear friends, because, so angle, if I talk about angle, so this is the angle, 30 degree. Okay. What about this angle? So this is 30 degree in anti-clockwise direction. And this is 30 degree in clockwise direction. Right? Yes. Okay. 30 degree in anti-clockwise direction, so 30 degree will be what? Magnitude, right? What do you think? Let me know in the chat box. Are you feeling confused? Are you feeling that, okay, my whole life is a lie? So I have studied, I was thinking that angle is a scalar quantity because, but then ma'am is saying it has some direction. So yeah, that's the point of thinking. That we can think actually. So angle is actually a scalar quantity. Angle is nothing but a scalar quantity. Then what's with the definition? Because angle is, ma'am, satisfying the definition of vector quantity. It has magnitude and it has direction. Anti-clockwise is a direction only. Then what's wrong with the definition? Right? Okay, I'll tell you what is wrong with the definition. Along with that, one more question. Okay, a student is saying that Padakanti Bharat. Ma'am, I have zero knowledge on vector algebra. Do not worry about that because we are starting from scratch. And if we are starting from scratch, doesn't mean that we will not cover JEE Main syllabus. We will cover each and every part of JEE Main syllabus. Along with that, we will solve very good previous year questions as well. Do not worry about that. Okay. Yes, I can see that one good answer that yes, in the chat box I can see yes. Also angle, if I talk about current. Is current a vector quantity? So if I observe current, is current a vector quantity? So if I say that 1 ampere current is flowing from here and 0.5. Can you see we have actually represented the direction of current as well. So 1 ampere is current and the direction is also here. So magnitude and direction are also involved, but current is also not a vector quantity. है ना? Current is also not a vector quantity. That means we have not studied a crisp definition of vector quantity. So now let me just tell you the exact proper definition of vector quantity. So a vector is what? A directed line segment. A directed line segment. A vector is nothing but directed line segment, right? So this is what? Initial point, and this is what? Final point, right? A is what? Initial point, B is final point. It is represented as AB, right? The vector is represented by AB. We can call this A initial point as the tail of the vector. Tail of the vector, right? So again, magnitude should be there for a vector. Magnitude should be there, plus direction should be there, plus one answer which I was getting in the chat box already, and I'm super duper impressed, by the way, that it should obey vector law. Vector law of addition. Right? It should obey vector law of addition. Getting my point? So magnitude plus direction, but it should obey vector law of addition as well. So if I talk about angle, tell me. And by the way, law of addition we are going to study. Okay. So if I talk about angle, so this is 30 degree and this is 10 degree. So this combined angle would be 30 plus 10. This is what? Basic maths, right? This is basic maths. This is not vector law of addition. This is 30 plus 10. This is basic maths. So the angle follows what? Angle has direction, angle has magnitude, but it should, is it obeying vector law of addition? No, it is obeying normal mathematics. And again, same with the current. What was happening? So in current, if I have 1 ampere, then it is distributing 0.5, 0.5. Then what is happening? 1 is equals to 0.5 plus 0.5. That means 1 ampere is distributing and 0.5 is this. So again, as compared to other teachers, your voice video level is low. Is that everybody is facing? Let me just fix it. If everyone is feeling the same thing, that my voice, something is wrong with my mic, then I will get it corrected from the team. Okay. So now you are getting that these two quantities, angle and current, does not obey vector law of addition. That's why these are scalar quantities. These are not vector quantities. So now you know what are vector and what are scalar quantities, right? Okay. So now, what is the magnitude of any vector? What would be the magnitude of any vector? So basically, if AB is the vector and I need to know the magnitude, I need to measure the length of this AB vector. Measure the length. And the length of this vector would be nothing but magnitude of this vector. As simple as that. Okay, I guess it is clear. So I guess maybe one student, maybe you can increase your laptops or systems volume. That will work for you. Okay, all right, let's talk about types of vector now. Now let's just increase the pace and talk about types of vector. Okay, so types of vector, first one is zero vector, or you can say null vector. Okay, so I will need your help in the definition in actually defining zero or null vector. What do you think will be the definition of zero vector in the chat box? What will be the definition of zero vector or null vector? Please let me know in the chat box. So I can clearly see that zero vector or null vector. So that means I can clearly see that magnitude of this vector clearly will be what? 0, right? Magnitude of this vector would be Waqif Ahmed is saying, okay, I'll be sharing the notes as well. If you are having any problem in writing your own notes, then what you can do is you can just stop writing any notes, listen to me, and post that you can make your notes or you can refer to my notes as well. Okay. Alright, magnitude is 0. What about direction of zero vector? What about direction of zero vector? Okay, I will give you two options. No direction or any direction. What should be the proper definition? Shall I call it a null vector which has zero magnitude but any direction? Or a null vector is a vector which has zero magnitude but no direction. What would be the correct between these two? No direction or any direction? What do you think? What do you think? Yes. Yes, student is writing direction is undetermined. Okay, any direction. So it would be any direction, right? So a vector with what? Zero magnitude with any direction actually. So it is represented by a point and we can impart any direction. If maybe Namrata Yadav, she's saying, okay ma'am, we can we impart this particular direction? Okay, yes, done. This is also 0 vector, this is also 0 vector. So any direction, all the directions are possible for 0 vector, and it is represented by this only, whose initial and final point are same. Initial and final point are same, right? For 0 vector, initial and final point are same. Got it? Done. 0 vector, null vector sorted. Now let's talk about unit vector. Okay, what is unit vector? So you know unit means 1. So a vector that has magnitude of 1 is called a unit vector. How to represent any unit vector? So if I say, if there is a cap over any vector, then we can call it as a unit vector. Okay, suppose I have this particular A vector, and if I have to represent a unit vector in the direction of A vector, then maybe the let's say this is of the length 3, then my unit vector A would be of the length A, and the magnitude would be what? Magnitude means how to represent a magnitude. So magnitude would be 1. This is how we represent the magnitude of any vector, by placing 2 vertical lines, right? 2 vertical lines means magnitude of A is nothing but 1, right? So it is denoted by A cap, right? And magnitude is 1. Unit vector in the direction of A vector. So if we have to write unit vector in the direction of A vector, then we will call it A cap, and this A cap would be equal to what? A vector divided by magnitude of this A vector. A vector divided by magnitude of this A vector, right? Yes? Okay, all right. Now let's talk about unit vector in the direction of x-axis. So we have x, y and z axis, right? X, y and z. So this would be I cap. This would be I cap. I cap is a unit vector in the direction of x-axis. In the direction of y-axis, we have j cap. In the direction of z-axis, we have k cap. So you all know, I guess, I cap, j cap and k cap. Very basic, okay? Right? 2 questions you can expect from vectors chapter, okay? All right. Okay. Now let me just tell you about the unit vector. If I say that number of unit vectors perpendicular to given plane in a space. So suppose you have a plane. Suppose this is a plane. The board is your plane, right? If I ask you that how many unit vectors perpendicular to this plane is possible, so you will say, ma'am, only 2 vectors. Only 2. How? So one vector would be facing towards you, right? One vector would be facing towards you. Unit vector, magnitude 1, direction is this. And another vector would be facing away from you, inside the board. That would be perpendicular to this plane. So only 2 vectors. And let me just tell you, you will say, ma'am, there should be actually infinite vectors. Don't you think there should be multiple vectors if you consider this as a initial point, right? So there should be multiple vectors basically. So direction towards you would be one direction, and this will be considered as one vector only because we are talking about free vectors, okay? Now number of unit vectors perpendicular to given line in space. So now we have a line, right? I have a line actually. I have a line. So now perpendicular to this particular line, how many vectors are possible? Think about it. So basically there are infinite vectors. Now you will say, ma'am, how come? How come you are saying 2 vectors in this particular thing, but here you are saying infinite? Why? Because see, one vector would be this, which is perpendicular to the direction. Another vector would be this one, right? So suppose I have a line, okay? So one vector which is perpendicular to my given pen is this, right? Another vector would be this, then this, then this. See, still my finger is perpendicular to my plane. Again this. How many vectors are possible? So we have a whole circular. Can you see that? That's how it will look like. It will look like this actually. So let me just, it will look like this. Can you see that? The circular perpendicular, so infinite and 2. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. The first one, number of unit vectors perpendicular to given plane. So you have this particular plane, right? Now I am asking you how many vectors are possible which are perpendicular to given plane. So one vector would be facing towards you, right? Unit vector. And another would be facing into the board, away from you, right? So suppose I have this plane, right? If I talk about this plane, right? So one vector would be in upwards direction, right? And one vector in the downward direction, upward and downward. Okay. So if we have this as a plane, now I have changed the plane. So one vector would be this unit vector, another vector would be this unit vector, right? Perpendicular to plane, above upward direction, perpendicular to the plane, lower direction. Only two vectors. Okay. All right. Clear. Now types of vector, again let me just explain you, because this particular concept will definitely require you the concept of free and localized vectors. So basically in mathematics we always talk about free vectors. Ma'am, what do you mean by free vector? So free vector is a vector which can move in the free space. So if I tell you this is your A vector, and so if I ask you what about this? This is also your A vector, because what we are doing is, although we are moving this vector in such a way, but we are moving in such a way that direction is intact. Can you see? The direction is intact and the magnitude is also intact. Then both the vectors are same, right? So this is also A vector. Can you see that? I have translated this. Magnitude is also same, direction is same. So we in mathematics, we talk about what? Free vectors. But what happens in physics is we talk about localized vector or fixed vector. Why? Because let's say for example in physics we talk about force, right? So if I tell you that okay, there is a block of 3 kg and a force of 2 Newton is applied. If I tell you, then what will you do if I ask you that okay, in physics also you go with free vectors? Then you will be like, okay ma'am, so 2 Newton I'll apply in the air. Then the whole problem will be a different problem. The whole problem will get affected. This block will not move, right? So in physics we have to talk about localized vector. Why? Because point of application matters in physics. But in mathematics we will only talk about free vectors. Clear? Yes? Yes. Okay. All right. Let's now talk about very important for your JEE Main 2024. We will solve many questions on this particular topic as well. Okay. Right. Two or more vectors are collinear if their directed line segments are parallel, disregard with their magnitude. So basically collinear or parallel vectors are same in mathematics. Why? Again, the answer lies in free vector. So if I talk about these two vectors, what will you say? Ma'am, these two are actually parallel vectors, right? But if I talk about these two vectors, then you will say, okay ma'am, these two are collinear vectors, right? Because they are actually overlapping on each other. But what if I do one thing, that because this is a free vector, right? So I move this free vector in such a way the direction is same, and this A vector and this is B vector, right? You are saying A and B are parallel, and here you are saying ma'am this particular set A and B are collinear. What I am trying to say is I'll move this B vector in such a way, because this is a free vector, so that it will overlap A only, then these two will become what? Collinear. That means in mathematics collinear and parallel will be same. Yes? Are you getting my point? So that's why collinear or parallel, one and same thing. Okay, but in line it is not possible. If we talk about two different lines, right, in straight line also parallel and collinear are two different things, because line we cannot move, right? Vectors we can move. I guess you are actually getting my point. Now we have actually two types of vectors in collinear, or so this is like vector and unlike vector. like vector and unlike vector, right? For like vector, we will actually, the direction will be exactly same. For like vector, direction would be exactly same. So these two are parallel, we can say, in same direction. So same direction. So basically the angle between these two vectors, let's say A vector and B vector. So angle between these two vectors would be 0 degree essentially. And over here, if I talk about A vector and B vector, so you can see that the angle between these two vectors, if I complete the diagram, so this is your A and this is your B, right? So angle is theta would be 180 degree, and these are unlike vectors. Unlike vectors. Okay, opposite direction. Opposite direction. Getting my point? Yes. Sorted. Okay. Now we need to understand, can we shift the vectors in mathematics, ma'am? Yes, that's what I'm saying. We can definitely shift the vector in mathematics, because in mathematics we study about free vectors. Okay, right? Now relation between two parallel vectors. So let us suppose we have two non-zero non-parallel vectors. Non-zero and non-parallel vectors. Okay. Actually not this one. Okay, let me just give you the easier way over here. So if you guys have two parallel vectors, okay, not this one. If you guys had A and B between non-zero parallel vectors, if you have parallel vectors, right? If you have non-zero parallel vectors, right, then you can simply write A is equals to lambda times B vector. That's the point. A is equals to lambda times B vector, right, where lambda cannot be equal to 0. Okay. So if I talk about A and B, if I say that A and B are parallel, okay, like vectors, then what will you say? Ma'am, if A and B are like vectors, then lambda should be positive. Then lambda should be positive because both are having same sign, right? For example, A is equals to 2B vector. So what will happen is, so A and B have same direction, but A will be equal to twice of B. So suppose I have B vector and this would be my A vector. Can you see that A is almost double of B vector? A is double of B vector, right? This is about like vectors. But if I say that A and B are unlike vectors, then what will happen? Lambda would be negative. In that particular case, we can write it as A is equals to minus 2B vector. So that means if this is your B vector, then your magnitude of A vector would be the double. So that's how you create. So this is 2B vector with a negative sign, or you can call it as a vector. Can you see clear-cut difference? So by looking at the equation only, you will be able to tell whether the vectors are parallel, and if they are parallel, whether they are like or they are unlike. Okay, so for like vectors, lambda should be greater than 0. For unlike, lambda should be less than 0. Lambda cannot be 0 because if lambda becomes 0, then your A vector will become null vector, right? Okay, getting it? Little. Chalo. Let's talk about next topic. Okay, so let's solve actually this particular question. Let's just start solving it. Let's start solving this question. The question says we need to figure out the value of lambda when A and B vector are parallel vectors. So we all know that your A vector would be mu times B vector because lambda is already used. So what is your A vector? 2i cap minus 3j cap plus k cap, right, would be equal to mu times 8i cap plus lambda j cap plus 4k cap, right? And we can clearly see that, okay, so this 1 would be equal to mu times 4. 1 is equals to 4 mu. So mu is coming out as 1 by 4. And if you put 1 by 4, you can get the value actually. So 2i cap minus 3j cap plus k cap would be 1 by 4. So 2i cap plus lambda by 4 j cap 1 by 4, so plus k cap. Now compare. The moment you compare, you will realize that these two quantities should be equal. Rest, everything is equal. So lambda is coming out as minus 12. Option C is absolutely right. Okay. And actually this is all calculation. You don't need to pick your pen. In this question, what you can do is you can clearly see, okay, if I multiply 4 in this, I will get this. So I should multiply 4 in this to get lambda. So minus 3 into 4, 12 should be in place of lambda. Again, multiply 4 in this, you are getting 4. So minus 3 multiply minus 3 multiply 4, so 12 would be your correct answer. Basically minus 12. Okay, minus 12 should be in place of this. All right. So if you guys have not liked the session, I won't say anything about it basically. All right, position vector. Now position vector is very important. Now for position vector, what will happen that your vector would be a fixed vector. Are you getting my point? Because now you know the position, you know the coordinates. So for position vector, we need to understand this. For position vector, we need to understand this, that we have a point A in your coordinate geometry x, y, z, and this is your origin, right? This is your origin. OA is nothing but position vector of A point. Position vector of point A. So position vector, PV, we can write it as PV. PV of point A will be equal to OA vector, and that would be xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. That's how we write about what? Position vector of point A, right? So if I have a point P and the question is asking me to write PV of point P, it's very simple. It would be OP vector is given by 2i cap plus j cap plus 3k cap. That's it. This would be your answer. Very basic, very easy. Yes. Right? Okay. All right. And we have actually another point Q. Okay. So PV of Q would be what? OQ vector. That would be nothing but I cap plus 2j cap plus 4k cap. Okay. Right? Yes. Getting it? Now we have another scenario. So actually here we have a point P whose coordinate would be x1, y1, z1, and we have point Q x2, y2, z2, right? So OP will be given by what? x1 I cap plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap, right? What about OQ? OQ can be given as x2 I cap plus y2 j cap plus z2 k cap, right? This is your OP vector, this is your OQ vector. Now if I talk about PQ vector, listen to me carefully now. If I talk about PQ vector, right? So PQ vector would be given by OQ minus OP. Did you notice one very important thing? That PQ vector is nothing about OP minus OQ. Rather, it is reverse. PQ is OQ minus OP. OQ minus OP. And OQ minus OP would be what? x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap. Are you getting my point? So here, if I write PQ vector, that can be given by OQ minus OP. OQ vector minus OP vector. And that would be what? 1 minus 2. So minus 1 I cap then 2 minus 1, so plus j cap, then 4 minus 3 plus k cap. So minus I plus j plus k would be what? Your PQ vector. Yes? Yes? Okay, let's talk about coplanar vectors now. So what are coplanar vectors? Coplanar vectors are those vectors, okay, we have already, which are lying in same plane, right? Two vectors are always coplanar which lie in same plane. That means you have a plane and there are two vectors which are lying in the same plane. We can call them coplanar vectors, right? So if I talk about two vectors, so any two vectors, if I talk about any two free vectors are always coplanar. What does that mean? That means if I give you two random vectors, you can create a plane related to, a single plane related to those two vectors. So two vectors will always lie in a same plane. But what about three vectors or more vectors? So that will depend actually. So three or more vectors may or may not be lying in the same plane. For example, so we have three vectors like this. Can you see all three vectors are lying in same plane? But we have one more example wherein the vectors are not lying in same plane. So this is what I cap, j cap and k cap. I, j and k does not lie in same plane. You know that. There is a xy plane and there is a yz and there is zx. All three, basically if I combine, so these three are not coplanar, non-coplanar. Yes? Okay. Now let's talk about angle between two vectors. How to calculate angle between two vectors? Yes, I'm speeding it up. So angle between two vectors, so we have this and we have this. Okay, this is theta. So a vector and b vector. How to write it? Theta would be equal to a vector, b vector. Right? That's how we write. This is what we call angle between a and b. So basically what the criteria is that the tail of one vector should be connected with tail of another vector. Basically tail of both the vectors should be equal, right? So if I say that, okay, this and this, tell me the angle between these two vectors. Tell me the angle between these two vectors. This is your a vector and this is your b vector. Would you say theta? Theta between a and b, theta. What about theta? So see, theta is not 150 degree, right? What we need to do is we need to translate it in such a way. So b vector I can shift in such a way, and also a vector also I can shift in such a way. So this is my extended a vector, this is my extended b vector. Now tail and tail of both the vectors are connected. Now I can say, okay, 150 degree is my correct answer. Okay, what about this? What about this? If this is 30 degree. No, actually this one. Can you guys tell me the angle between these two sets? So for this, so this is your a vector, this is your b vector. I need to actually extend this so that now I can see this is my b vector. Tail is connected to. So this, the final scenario would be this is your a and this is your b. And since this angle was 30 degree, this angle would be 150 degree. In this particular case, theta would be what? 150 degree. Right? Tail and tail should be connected. Tail and tail should be connected, then only we can say that theta is the angle. That's how we calculate angle between two vectors. Okay. If I talk about magnitude of a vector in 2D, so let's say we have a vector, right? We have a vector, so O and P. X comma Y are the coordinates. So OP vector would be what? Tell me. X I cap plus Y j cap. Right? That's it. X I cap. Now magnitude is written as this between vertical line, that would be x square plus y square, right? This is magnitude of a vector in 2 dimension. What about 3 dimension? So in 3 dimension, magnitude of vector would be what? So this is, let's say P, this is, let's say Q. x1, y1, z1, x2, y2, z2. OP, OQ, PQ. Right? So if I need to calculate OP, distance between origin and P, so that would be what? Magnitude of xi cap plus y x1 y1 j cap plus z1 k cap, and that would be given by square root of x1 square plus y1 square plus z1 square. Right? Similarly, OQ vector is given by what? Square root of x2 square plus y2 square plus z2 square. Similarly, if I talk about PQ vector we have already calculated x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap. Then magnitude of PQ or distance between P and Q would be calculated as what? x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square plus z2 minus z1 square. That's it. That's it. That's it. Magnitude of a vector in 3D? Yes. Question time, question time, question time. Question time, question time, question time. Okay. Alright, find the vector in the direction of this particular vector that has magnitude 7 unit. Okay. Alright. So let us do one thing. Let us calculate unit vector in direction of A vector. That is given by what? A basically, that is what? A cap would be equal to A vector upon magnitude of A vector. So what is A vector? I minus 2j upon magnitude of A vector would be what? 1 square plus 2 square. So that would be what? I minus 2j whole upon root 5. This is your unit vector in direction of A vector. Now we need to calculate what? Vector in direction of A vector but 7 magnitude. So that would be what? 7a cap. 7a cap, this is your a cap. So 7 by root 5 times I minus 2j. Yes? Yes? I can clearly see that many students have already given the answer. So very good, well done. Let's talk about distance formula we are not talking because we've already talked about distance, right? Magnitude is distance. Now let's talk about section formula. So suppose we have a line segment A, this is line segment, this is B, and this is your P. Correct? Now position vector of this point A is nothing but A vector. Position vector of point B is B vector, and this P divides the complete line segment AB in the ratio m is to n. Then position vector of P, point P, is given by what? X vector would be nothing but m times B vector plus n times A vector whole upon m plus n, right? This is for internal division. Internal division. For external division, what will happen? For external division, X vector would be mb minus na upon m minus n. This is for external division. External division means your point P will lie outside this line AB. Are you getting my point? Yes? Okay, so shall I give you a question? It's a question time, guys. Okay, so the question says that the point R divides the line segment PQ. Similar type of question. So we have a line segment PQ and we have a point R, and this point R divides line segment PQ in the ratio 2:3, guys, right? We have position vector of P, which is what? 1, 1, 1. That's how I write it, okay? Don't get confused if I write only the components, right? I'm not writing I cap, J cap, K cap. So here is a quick tip for you, because in examination, it will save some time every time you write I and make a cap on it. It will actually, so this is easier, this is convenient actually, right? So 1, minus 1, 1, right? Now let's just talk about R vector, which is PV of point R, right? R vector would be what? Twice of this. So 2 times 1, minus 1, 1, this is minus 1, plus 3 times this, 1, 1, 1, whole upon 2 plus 3. And here we go. So 2 multiply. So this is I cap, this is J cap, this is K cap. Yeah, I, J, K. So 2 multiply 1 plus 3. So 5 I cap finally. Minus 2 and what? Plus 3. So that would be plus J cap. Minus 2 plus 3 plus K cap. Whole upon 5. So that would be what? I cap plus 1 by 5 J cap plus 1 by 5 K cap. That's how your answer will be. Yes. Perfect. Shall I move ahead and talk about the position vector of a centroid of a triangle? So here we have a triangle. Okay. How to create a centroid? To create a centroid, this is a triangle ABC. I need to draw medians. Medians means which bisect the base. So that means if D is the midpoint, then AD would be your median. And if E is the midpoint, then B would be your median, and same goes with this, right? Now this is your G centroid. Centroid divides the median in 2:1 ratio, and we need to calculate the coordinates of centroid. So if I talk about this is your A vector. This is your B vector, right? This is your C vector. Position vector of D would be what? Since D is the midpoint, B plus C by 2. Can we write it this way? B plus C by 2, right? Now we have coordinates of D, we have coordinates of A, G, coordinates of basically PV of G. PV of G point, that is given by maybe let's say G vector, would be what? Twice of B plus C by 2, 1 times A plus 1 times A, right? Whole upon 2 plus 1, 3, right? So G vector is nothing but A plus B plus C by 3. So position vector of centroid is given by A plus B plus C by 3. Are you getting my point? Yes? Clear? All right. Okay. Now what about position vector of an in-center? So I am not giving you the proof, rather I am giving you the direct formula, right? Okay. So basically, if I talk about, okay, let's say the length of this side BC is X, length of this side is Y, and this is Z. Position vectors are A vector, B vector, and C vector. Coordinates of in-center. What is in-center? Which is the meeting point of angle bisector. Okay, meeting point of angle bisector I. PV of in-center is given by what? So X times A vector plus Y times B vector plus Z times C vector. Right? What is X, Y, Z? Length of sides. What is A vector, B vector, C vector? Position vectors. Whole upon X plus Y plus Z. This is your position vector of in-center. Yes? Okay. We are actually starting from very basic. Now we'll pick up the pace. We'll solve PYQs. Okay? Just that we need to study the addition of vectors, triangle law of vectors. Okay? So triangle law of vector is very, actually you know what? I don't want to teach you triangle law of vector. Let's not do it. And neither I want to talk about parallelogram. I will talk about loop law. Loop law. Right? Loop law is in trend because loop law is all about triangle, parallelogram, everything will be covered in the loop law. Loop law simply says if you have closed figure, and even if you don't have, you can make a closed figure, right? So if you have this particular situation, A vector, then this is B vector, this is your X vector which you need to figure out, right? So what you need to do is, you just need to follow the direction. Start from any particular point. Let's start from this initial point. Are you going in the direction? Yes, ma'am, plus A vector. Now after this, you need to go towards B. Are you moving still in the direction? Yes, ma'am, plus B. Now you just need to complete the loop. You have started from here, you need to end from here. So here, then plus B, coming back. Now can you see we are going against the direction? If we are going against the direction, I will write a minus sign x vector is equals to 0. Now you can clearly see that x vector is nothing but a plus b vector. And you know what? This is triangle law of addition only. Right? This is triangle law of addition only. If I talk about this, okay, tell me about this. Okay. This is your A vector, this is your X vector, this is your B vector, this is your C vector. Let me know the value of X vector in the chat box. So I can see, let's start from here. You can start from here as well. Tell me from where to start. If I start from here, are we going in the direction? Yes, ma'am, plus A vector. Then X vector. Okay, ma'am, we are still going in the direction. Then we are still going in the direction, right? Here, then here. And then coming back, we are going against the direction. So that would be minus C vector, ma'am, is equals to 0. Once you have completed the loop, just write it is equals to 0, right? What you need to calculate is X vector, shift everything towards the right hand side. So X vector would be what? C minus A minus B vector. That would be your X vector. Yes? Perfect. So now you know triangle law, parallelogram law. Okay, so let's just talk about this question. Very easy basic question I have written for you. So if A and B represented by the sides AB and BC of regular hexagon. So let us make a hexagon, regular hexagon look like this. Isn't it? Regular hexagon will look like this. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F. This is your AB vector. AB is given by A vector only. BC is given by B vector. So this is your B vector. What you need to figure out is FA vector, right? FA vector. Okay. Can I actually get AC vector by any chance? Can I get AC vector by any chance? We can clearly see A vector plus B vector minus AC vector. A plus B minus AC is equals to 0. That means AC vector is nothing but A plus B. That is first thing, right? Basically what I am trying to do is, I am trying to complete the loop with F and A. For that I need to draw this FC and impart a direction. So now can you see FC vector is parallel to A vector, and you know what? By hexagonal property, we can write it as FC vector would be double of AB vector. This is your hexagonal property. Hexagonal property. So this is A vector. This would be your 2A vector. Now complete the loop. Let's complete the loop. FA vector, right? Then A plus B, right? And then minus 2A. Minus 2A is equals to 0. So FA vector is nothing but what? A minus B vector. A minus B vector. That's how you calculate. Yes? All right. Okay. So we have another question from 2023, JEE Main 2023. JEE Main 2023, we have a question. Okay, so the question says, let A, B, C, D, let me just write the question, be a quadrilateral. Let A, B, C, D be a quadrilateral, right? And if E and F are the midpoints of the diagonal AC, are midpoints of diagonal AC, ठीक है, and BD respectively. Now the question says that AB minus BC, AB vector minus BC vector plus AD vector minus DC vector, okay, is equals to K times FE vector, right? Then the value of K is what? You have 4, you have -2, you have 2, you have -4. Okay, JEE Main 2023 का क्वेश्चन है, ABCD is a quadrilateral, E and F are midpoint of diagonal AC and BD respectively. So let's just make a quadrilateral, right? Let's just make a quadrilateral. This is my quadrilateral. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Or rather, let me make a nice looking, beautiful looking quadrilateral, right? Why the quadrilateral looks out of shape? Let us say this is my quadrilateral, right? A, B, C and D, right? Now let us assume the position vector of A as 0, origin. Let us assume this as origin. This should be your B vector, this should be your C vector, this should be your D vector. And you know what? AC. So AC has a midpoint which is E, by the way. And this E is nothing but B plus D by 2. This is B plus D by 2, right? What about this? Right? So we have F. Suppose this is your F, right? No, actually. So E has 0 plus C by 2. So sorry about this. E is midpoint of what? AC. E is midpoint of AC. So that would be what? E would be what? 0 plus C by 2. And F would be what? B plus C by 2. Right? Okay. Let's just talk about AB minus BC now. Let's just solve this equation. Now AB would be what? B vector minus 0 vector. So that would be B vector only. Minus. What is BC? So BC is nothing but, C minus B. So that would be what? C minus B directly. Plus we have AD minus DC. Now AD is nothing but what? D vector. Minus DC would be what? C minus D by 2 is equals to K times FE vector. So FE vector, what is FE vector by the way? FE would be what? E minus F. So K times E minus F. E is what? C by 2 minus F is what? B plus, actually this is D. So B plus D by 2. This is the equation. Now what you need to do is we just need to compare it. Let's fix the right hand side. So in right hand side we have 2B vector, right? Then we have, okay, so this is DC. DC is C minus D, right? So this would be 2B vector. Then we have 2D vector. Then we have minus 2C vector. Am I doing correct? B plus B, so 2B, D plus D, 2D, minus 2C vector would be equal to what? K. Let's take out 2 common, so C minus B minus D. Right? We can actually see some similarity over here. If I take 2 common from this, and minus sign common from this, our expression would be what? B plus D minus C. So twice of B plus C minus D would be equal to, take out minus K by 2. So that would be B plus C minus D only. Can you compare? Minus K by 2 is equals to 2 and K would be equal to minus 4. Right? So minus 4 would be the correct answer. Right? Just basic comparison. We have actually just expanded this with the help of position vector, and the moment we expand it, we realize, okay, something is matching. Just take out minus sign common from here. You will see that B plus D minus C will create, and B plus D minus C is already created over here the moment you take 2 common. That's what we did. 2 common here, minus sign common here. Compare, K is coming out as -4. Perfect. Yes. Nice question. This is from JEE Main 2023. Right? Yes. Okay. Now let's talk about collinearity of 3 points. Collinearity of 3 points. So collinearity of 3 points is very simple, and actually honestly we have actually seen some glimpse about it. So if you have 3 points as a collinear points, if you have 3 points as collinear points A, B and C, that means you can join these 3 points and you will create one line out of it. So it will look like this. So if I talk about this AB and BC vector, or rather AC vector as well. So we can get actually 3 vectors out of it, AB, BC and AC, right? AB, BC and AC. So all these 3 vectors are what? Parallel vectors. So we can directly apply the condition of parallel vector, and the condition is AB vector is nothing but lambda times BC vector, or you can write it as AB vector is equals to lambda times AC vector, whatever is convenient for you, right? All 3 vectors are parallel, so you can just play the permutation and combination. You can write AB is equals to lambda BC, you can write AB is equals to lambda AC, BC is equals to lambda AC, anything you can write. Getting my point? Shall we move ahead and talk about this particular question, which says we have basically we have 3 points A, B and C. Position vector of point A is given as 2A vector minus 3B vector. This is A minus B, and this is what? Okay, sorry, B vector is B vector only. This is A minus, C vector is A minus B. So this is B vector and this is A minus B. What we need to figure out is, we need to figure out whether these 3 vectors are collinear or not. So how will we figure out? We just need to check this condition whether AB vector is equal to lambda times A BC vectors, right? If this condition is going to get satisfied, then our vector would be what? Our vector would be what? Collinear. If not, then they are non-collinear, right? Okay, so what is AB vector? So AB vector would be B vector minus this. So B minus this. So that would be what? 4B vector minus 2A vector. B minus 3B is 4B and minus 2A, right? This would be equal to lambda times BC vector. Now what about BC vector? BC would be C minus B. So minus B minus B, so that would be minus 2B vector and plus A vector, right? This minus this would be like this. Now can you compare it? Yes, we can actually. So for that, I can actually clearly see that lambda should be equal to minus 2. The moment I plug in lambda is equals to minus 2, everything will be sorted. Lambda is minus 2, minus 2 minus 2, 4b. 4b is here, 4b will be here. And then lambda is minus 2, then this will be minus 2a, so minus 2 is here. That means lambda is coming some negative value. That means the lines are collinear. The condition is getting satisfied. So here we can say that the 3 points are collinear points. Yes? Alright? Okay. Another question. Trust me, this is very important for your JEE Main 2024. I have a feeling that this question will come up in your, this type of question, the concept will be there in your upcoming JEE Main 2024. Will you be able to solve this question? I'm leaving this up to you, giving you 2 minutes. Do solve this question. Let me know your answer in the chat box. Yes. Ma'am, can you check last question, please? What need to be checked? Anything wrong with the last question? Okay. So in this question, it is given actually. It is already given that these three lines, these 3 points are collinear. So what we can do is we can apply the condition that AB vector is equals to lambda times. Now, basically, don't write AB is equals to lambda times BC. Why? Because BC will create a problem. Actually, B is the problem because B is unknown to us. So AB though we don't have any option because we have to include one B, but on the right hand side we can write AC, right? Because AC is known to us, A and C both are known. Now what is AB? Tell me. So AB vector, I'll not be writing I cap. AB vector would be P minus 2, comma 9 minus 3, 6. That is equals to lambda times AC. AC would be C minus A. So that would be minus 1, comma minus 4. Right? Now P minus 2 would be equal to minus lambda. That is your first equation. And 6 is equals to minus 4 lambda. So that would be lambda is coming out as minus 3 by 2. The moment you plug in lambda minus 3 by 2, P minus 2 is equals to 3 by 2. So P would be what? 2 plus 3 by 2. Very easy. 7 by 2 is your correct answer. Option C. Yes. Was that your answer? Not many, only Vaishnavi I can see have given the correct answer. And you know what? I'm actually very disappointed that very few students have got this answer, and in the chat box you were constantly writing, by the way, ma'am, please speed up, please speed up. This is very basic, right? What we do is, generally what we do is, when someone is teaching very basic, you will say, okay, go ahead and teach me difficult things. But when it comes to basic things, we realize, okay, no, you're not able to solve basic things. Easily, that's why I focus on basics, because this type of question will be in your JEE Main 2024 because you know what? It was there in your 2023 as well. Right? So let me just write down the question for you people. So here we have a question. If the points with position vector, alpha I cap plus 10 j cap plus 13 k cap, comma 6 I cap plus 11 j cap plus 11 k cap, comma we have 9 by 2 I cap plus beta j cap plus minus 8 k cap are collinear. These 3 points are given as collinear points. Then what we need to figure out is 19 alpha minus 6 beta whole square value, and you have options as well. Don't worry about that. 36, 25, 49 and 16. Okay, so can you see that I was telling you that this particular type of question can come in your upcoming JEE Main 2024, right? Write properly. If the points with position vector alpha I cap, so these 3 points basically, okay, 6 I cap, this and this. These 3 points are given as collinear points. What is second PV? 6 I cap plus 11 j cap plus 11 k cap. Right? Can I mark this as A, this as B and this as C? And can I write it as AB right, AB will be equal to lambda times BC. Just that. Only this condition you need to apply. Okay, AB is equals to lambda times BC. Can we do this? So what will be your AB? Tell me about AB. So 6 minus alpha, comma, 11 minus 10, that would be 1. 11 minus 13, that would be minus 2. Right? That would be equal to lambda times BC. Now, this is A, this is B, this is C. What would be BC? 9 by 2 minus 6. So 9 by 2 minus 6 would be what? 6 2s are 12. So 9 minus 12 would be minus 3 by 2. Minus 3 by 2. Then we have beta minus 11. And then we have what? Minus 8 minus 11, that would be minus 19. That's it. Now you just need to compare. Can you see that 6 minus alpha would be equal to lambda times minus 3 by 2. 1 is equals to lambda times beta minus 11, and this minus 2 would be equal to lambda times minus 19. So minus 2 is equals to lambda times minus 19, minus minus cancel. Lambda is equals to 2 upon 19. Lambda is equals to 2 upon 19. We've got the value of lambda, by the way. Now what we can do is we can go for this alpha. So 6 minus alpha would be equal to lambda times minus 3 by 2. And what about lambda? Lambda is 2 by 19. So 6 minus alpha is equals to 2 by 19 minus 3 by 2. 2 cancel, right? So alpha minus 6, shift minus sign over here. That would be what? 3 by 19. So alpha is coming out as 3 by 19 plus 6. Okay. Yes. This is your alpha. What about your beta? What about beta? So 1 is equals to lambda times beta minus 11. And what about lambda? 2 by 19. So that would be 19 by 2 plus 11 is your beta. Now you have the value of alpha, you have value of beta. Can you plug in the value of alpha and beta? So we can do that actually. So 19 alpha, multiply 19. So 3 plus 6 into 19. 3 plus 6 into 19 minus 6 times beta. So 6 times beta would be what? So 3 into 19 minus 6 times beta, 6 into 11 ka whole square, right? So this would be 3 plus 3.19 minus 66 whole square. So if you solve this, you will be getting a 36 from this particular question. Right? 57 minus 66, that would be minus 9. So 3 minus 9 ka whole square. So you will get this. Right? 6 ka square you will be getting. 6 ka square would be 36. Option A, option A, option A, right? Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the very important topic of today's session, that is dot product. Right? Let's just dig into the dot product. Dot product. So for any two non-zero vectors, A and B both are non-zero vectors. If I talk about non-zero vectors, right? Non-zero vectors, A dot B is given by A, B, that means magnitude of A and magnitude of B cos theta, where theta is nothing but angle between these two vectors. Right? Yes? Getting my point? Okay. What does that mean? Okay. Right, A dot B is equals to AB cos theta. If I talk about formula to find a dot product, so suppose we have A vector as 3i cap plus j cap plus k cap, and B vector as 4i cap plus 5j cap plus k cap, right? We need to figure out the value of A dot B, right? Here you can write A vector generalize, A1i cap plus A2j cap plus A3k cap. B vector is B1i cap plus B2j cap plus B3k cap. A dot B by formula is given by A1 B1 plus A2 B2 plus A3 B3, है ना? Only the product of similar component. Here you can clearly write 3 4s are 12 plus 5 plus 1, so 18 is the correct answer. This is how you calculate dot product, right? Now there are actually 3 cases about this theta. So say this theta lies actually between what? Theta belongs to 0 degree to pi, 0 to pi, right? 0 to pi, 0 to pi. Theta belongs to 0 to pi. So let us talk about these 3 cases when the angle between two vectors is acute angle. That means theta belongs to 0 degree to pi by 2 open, right? Theta is 0 degree to acute angle. Acute angle. If I talk about acute angle, then what would be the sign of A dot B? What would be the sign of A dot B? That's what my question is. So A dot B, okay, let us understand this. So this is positive. Magnitude of A will remain positive, right? So this is what? AB cos theta, right? This is positive. B is also positive because magnitudes are always positive. What about cos theta? Since theta lies in first quadrant, cos theta will also be positive. So I can say that in this particular case, A dot B will be positive. So the moment I see this in this particular question, can you see? A dot B is coming out as 18. What can we talk, what can we say about the angle between A and B? We can clearly say that the angle between A and B lies in first quadrant 0 to pi by 2. Getting my point? Yes. Okay. Second case. If your angle theta, right, this is your theta. So theta belongs to pi by 2 open to pi close, that means obtuse angle. So if I talk about A dot B, which is what? AB cos theta. So A is positive, B is positive. Now cos theta, since the angle lies in second quadrant, cos theta is negative. So 2 positive, 1 negative will give A dot B as a negative sign. That means if I tell you, okay, A dot B is coming out as minus 12. What will you say? What can you say about it? Okay, ma'am, A dot B is negative. That means the angle between A and B is obtuse angle, ma'am. Right? By looking at the value of A dot B, you'll be able to tell the location of the angle, the quadrant of the angle. Okay, so these are the 2 cases. Last but not the least, we have third case which says that angle between A and B, very important case, angle between A and B. Angle between A and B is pi by 2. What does that mean? A dot B is equals to AB cos pi by 2, which is nothing but 0. So the moment you say that A dot B, the dot product between this is 0, what does that mean? A is perpendicular to B. But mind it, I have already mentioned that between A and B, none cannot be, no vector should be 0 vector. No vector should be 0 vector. Are you getting my point? A and B both are not null vector, non-zero vector. Okay, 0 vector, got it? Yes, very important, very, very important. Now let's talk about properties of dot product. So let's talk about the very first property which says A dot B is equals to B dot A. Right? Second property says that A dot B plus C distributed is equals to A dot B plus A dot C. simply the multiplication of A. So A dot B plus C, A dot B, A dot C. Third we have, okay, very important, A dot A is nothing but magnitude of A square. How is this possible? So A dot A basically is nothing but magnitude of A cos 0 degree, because angle between A vector and A vector is what? 0 degree. Cos 0 is 1. So this is magnitude of A square. Very important property. Fourth point is the maximum value of A dot B and the minimum value of A dot B. Now we all know that A dot B is what? AB cos theta, right? This is your cos theta. I want maximum value of the dot product, and maximum value of dot product will depend on the cos theta. What is the maximum value of cos theta? Can you tell me? Maximum value of cos theta is nothing but 1, right? So maximum value would be AB, and this AB will occur at, this maximum value will occur at theta is equals to 0. Why? Because, so A dot B max will be what? AB cos 0 degree, because cos 0 is 1. That means for maximum value, for two vectors to give maximum value, maximum magnitude, the angle between both the vectors should be 0 degree. Those should be like vectors, right? What about the minimum value? Minimum value would be minus of AB. So here the theta would be, so A dot B minimum for this theta would be 180 degree. So A B cos pi, because cos pi is nothing but minus 1, so this will be minus AB. So for this, theta would be pi, so this would be unlike vectors and this would be like vector. Very important condition, right? Fifth point says that cos theta, value of cos theta we can easily calculate. So angle between two vectors can be given by dot product upon their individual magnitude. You know how to calculate dot product. I have given you the formula. If you have two vectors, I have given you the formula to calculate the dot product. You can easily calculate magnitude of both the products, both the vectors, if vectors are given to us. So you can calculate angle between two vectors, yes or no? Yes. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about very important topic, which is projection. There are many problems which come from this particular topic as well, right? Are we ready for the projection? What does projection mean? Let me just tell you. So here we have A vector, and then we have B vector, right? We have B vector, and the moment I would like to take the projection, if I only talk about the scalar projection, that this length, suppose this is O, this is your B, this is your A, and this is your C. For example, this is your C. So you know what? Projection of B vector on A vector is nothing but OC. Are you getting my point? Projection of B vector on this A vector, OA vector or A vector you can call it, is nothing but this particular length, which is OC. Now how to calculate OC? So you have seen in physics classes that if OB vector is given as OB vector is this, basically we can actually apply what? Cos theta. In this triangle, in this right angle triangle, cos theta, tell me what is the value of cos theta. If this is the theta, then base upon hypotenuse, that means OC is your base upon what? This is your magnitude of B vector. So OC is what? B cos theta, right? OC is what? B cos theta. We need to calculate OC, by the way. This is what? Can you see? B cos theta. Okay. Now how to get B cos theta actually? By looking at B cos theta, I know one thing. What is that thing? That if I talk about dot product between A and B, that will give me AB cos theta. And what I need is this B cos theta. So B cos theta is nothing but your projection, and this can be given as what? A dot B upon magnitude of A is nothing but OC, right? So B cos theta can be written down as AB cos theta upon A, and this AB, right? I have multiplied, divide. So now AB cos theta is nothing but A dot B, and this is what? So this is, just erase this. This is magnitude of A. So projection of B vector on A vector is A dot B upon A, right? Yes, projection definitely has a direction. Dot product doesn't have a direction, but projection can still have a direction. Okay, so basically it will actually depend, because the negative sign, you can see A dot B can be negative. What does that mean? That simply means that angle is what? Obtuse. So this B vector will be like this. B vector will be like this. So when the angle is obtuse, the B vector will be like this, and the projection will come on the left hand side. So the negative sign indicates that the projection is like this in the left hand side. Okay. Projection of B vector on A vector. If I talk about, so I'm talking about scalar projection. I'm talking about scalar projection. If I talk about scalar projection of A vector on B vector. So basically this part is important, on B vector. The moment you see on B vector, always write B vector in the denominator and the dot product in the numerator, right? So numerator will have dot product, denominator will have that magnitude on which vector you have to take the projection. This is very important. On B, that means denominator B. On A, that means denominator A. Will you write it? Okay, right? And if I talk about vector projection, by the way, there are sometimes vector, they talk about vector projection. So vector projection of B vector on A vector. For that, you have to actually write the same thing. What is the same thing? So B on A, write the scalar projection. So A dot B upon A vector, because on A is here, right? On A, and because on A is here, you just have to actually write A cap. A cap, okay. Let me just write it over here. Yes, so that would be A dot B upon A vector, right? This is what? Scalar part. Now what you need to do is, you need to find out vector part. So because there is on A, for that just multiply A cap vector over here. Just multiply A cap vector over here. Okay, so vector projection on A. Please do remember this, because this can also be in your upcoming JEE Main 2024. Let's now talk about a question which was asked in JEE Main 2023 itself, which will talk about what? The dot product basically. Okay, dot product will definitely short will have some questions in your JEE Main 2024, right? Very important. So the question says alpha is 4i cap minus plus 3j cap plus 5k cap. This is your alpha, this is your beta, and it is given that, okay, alpha and beta are given. Beta 1 is given as parallel to alpha. So beta 1 can be written as lambda times alpha vector. Yes. Can I write it this way? Because in the question beta 1 is parallel to alpha. So beta 1 is equals to lambda times alpha vector. Can I write it as this way? So beta 1 vector actually will be what? Lambda times alpha. Alpha is given to us 4, 3, 5. That means beta 1 is sorted now. I just need the value of lambda to get the value of beta 1. Okay, let's talk about the next thing. Now beta 2 be perpendicular to alpha. All right. What does that mean? beta 2 is perpendicular to alpha vector. What does that mean? That beta 2 dot alpha vector is what? Tell me in the chat box. Zero. Dot product is 0 when two vectors are parallel. One more thing which is given to us, that is this. Beta is equals to beta 1 plus beta 2. Right? Beta is equals to beta, and then we need to figure out the value of beta 2. To get the value of beta 2 actually, so beta 2 is nothing but beta minus beta 1. This is your beta 2, right? What I need at the end is the value of beta 2. Yes. Now what is beta 2? Beta minus beta 1. Is beta given to us? Yes. This is your beta. This is your beta 1. Alright. So you can actually write the value of beta 2 with the help of beta and beta 1. Getting my point? Let's start writing. So beta minus beta 1. What is beta? Tell me. 1, 2 minus 4. Minus times lambda times, what is beta 1? 4, 3, 5. Start writing it. 1 minus 4 lambda, comma, 2 minus 3 lambda, comma, minus 4 minus 5 lambda is your what? Beta 2 vector. And don't forget, we have this very condition where beta 2 comma alpha is 0. Right? Here you have beta 2. So beta 2 dot alpha would be what? Tell me. So beta 2 dot alpha. So 4 times 1 minus 4 lambda. Right? Plus 3 times. That's how we take dot product. Right? 3 times 2 minus 3 lambda. And 5 times minus 4 minus 5 lambda is equals to 0. What happened? Yes, is equal to 0. Yes, now is the time that you will get your value of lambda. The moment you get the value of lambda, you can clearly see you can get the value of beta 2. Plug in the value of beta 2, get the answer, and you are done. Shall we do it? Definitely. So 4 plus 6, 10. 10 minus 5 4s are 20. 10 minus 20 is what? 10 minus 20 is minus 10. What about the lambda terms? Minus 16 minus 9. That is minus 25. And so this is minus 50 lambda is equals to 0. 0, 0 gone. Lambda is nothing but 1 by 5 with a negative sign. Plug in the value of lambda over here to get what? The value of beta 2. So value of lambda is what? Okay. So that would be what? Minus 1 by 5. So 1 plus 4 by 5. 1 plus 4 by 5, comma, right? Put the value of 1 by 5. 2 plus 3 by 5. 2 plus 3 by 5, comma, and we have what? Minus 4 plus 1. Minus 4 plus 1 is what? Minus 3. This is your beta 2. Calculate it nicely. 5 to 9 by 5, comma, 13 by 5, comma, minus 3. This is your beta 2. You just need to plug in the value over here. So 5 times, now beta 2 by I cap, j cap, k cap. So that would be 9 by 5 plus 13 by 5 and minus 3. Right? 9 plus 13. 5 cancel. 9 plus 13 would be what? 22 minus 15. So 22 minus 15 is nothing but 7. So 7 is your correct answer. Option C. Yes. Yes. 9, 13, minus 15. There is some, Mogit, you are very close, but some mistake is there. So 7 is the answer. I can see C. Now you are telling me the option is C, ma'am. Are you getting some confidence? Right? Okay, are you getting some confidence? All right, so here we have another very important topic, which is theorem in plane. Theorem in plane says if you have two vectors in a plane and then two vectors are already in single plane, then you have the third vector. So this is A, this is B. Then you have third unknown vector. All you know about this unknown vector is that this unknown vector lies in plane of A and B. Right? So there is a vector which lies in plane of two given vectors, and that can be given by r vector is equals to x times a scalar plus a scalar into a vector plus another scalar into b vector, xa plus yb. That's how you can write a vector which is in plane with two given vectors. Very important. Haritram, I guess you have not seen my that video which says 10 chapters will give you 99 percentile. Go watch that video. I have mentioned about vector and 3D geometry, how many questions you can expect out of 3D geometry and vectors. So vectors 2 questions, 3D geometry 3 questions also sometimes. Vector and 3D geometry combined will give you 4 to 5 questions. Yes, Gotram Raj, while solving vector problems, I am doing silly mistakes. You know what? Actually, it is not something which you alone are facing, because there are some calculations involved, right? So you will do silly mistakes, but all you have to do is be very aware. Do not focus on quantity, that's solving 20-25 questions in one go. Rather, solve 5 to 7 questions, but make sure that you are not making any mistake. Quality, prefer quality over quantity, and then gradually your speed will get increased, and then you won't be able to do any mistakes, right? You are on the right track, just a little bit of more effort. Okay, so theorem in plane. So we have a question from JEE Main March 2021, right? JEE Main March 2021, and here is this question. I would like you to attempt this question very sincerely, and trust me, this is not an alpha question, by the way. This is not an alpha question. This requires some calculation. So be cool and solve this question, right? Okay. Try. Planes are deleted. Yes, I'm not going to teach 3D, only vector algebra. 3D I will keep a session for 3D, another session for 3D. Okay, so the question says, let x be a vector in the plane containing A and B. Okay, can you see the very first line? The very first line. Okay, you can absolutely see a question in your shift which says there is a vector which lies in plane of two given vectors, and you know what, unfortunately you won't be able to write it down. Okay, this is theorem in plane. Will you be able to write by looking at this statement that x be a vector which lies in plane containing the vector A and B? What does that mean? This is theorem in plane, guys. 90% of the students won't be able to write theorem in plane just by looking at the first statement. Okay, So you have to write it. So x vector would be what? Lambda times a vector plus mu times b vector. Right? Do calculation very carefully. So x vector would be what? Lambda times a vector 2 comma minus 1 comma 1 plus mu times 1 comma 2 comma minus 1. Be careful while doing the calculations. 2 lambda plus mu comma minus lambda plus 2 mu comma lambda minus mu is your x vector. What you need to calculate is magnitude of x vector, right? Finally, you need to calculate. That means you need the value of lambda and mu. The moment you get value of lambda and mu, you will get the value of x vector and the magnitude will be sorted, right? Okay. Now we have, so I need actually two equations to get the value of lambda and mu. So very first equation is this. From this information, x is perpendicular to this. That means dot product of x with what? 3 comma 2 comma minus 1 is 0. What does that mean? 3 times this, that means 6 lambda plus 3 mu plus twice of this, that means 4 mu minus 2 lambda minus 1, that means plus mu minus lambda is coming out as 0. 6 lambda plus 6 lambda minus 2 lambda, 4 lambda, 4 minus 1, so 3 lambda, 3 mu, 4 mu, 7 plus 8 mu is equals to 0. Okay, so this is one equation in lambda and mu. One equation in lambda and mu. And its projection on a vector is given by 17. Projection is given. Now you need the projection of x vector on a is what? 17 root 6 by 2. So that means, okay, so I have to write it over here, I guess only. Okay. So x dot a, okay, x dot a, tell me the formula. X dot a upon magnitude of a is given by what? 17 root 6 by 2. X dot a. What is x? This is your x. Take dot product with a. A is given there. Twice of this, right? So twice of this. Okay, we will do this. What is the magnitude of a vector, by the way? 4 plus 1 plus 1. So that is root 6. So x dot a is equals to 17 into 6 by 2. 17 into 3, that is 57. So dot product of x and a is what? 57. Right? Dot product of x and a is given by 57. Can you calculate dot product between x and a? Let's do this. Okay. So twice of this value. So 4 lambda plus 2 mu. 4 lambda plus 2 mu. Right? Then we have minus times this value 2. So lambda minus 2 mu. Then we have 1 times this, so plus lambda minus mu is equals to nothing but 57. 4 lambda, so 6 lambda minus mu is equals to 57. What you can do is you can plug in the value of mu from this, minus 3 lambda by 8. Mu is what? Minus 3 lambda by 8. Put the value. So 6 lambda plus 3 lambda by 8 is nothing but 57. 8 6 are 48. 48 plus 3, 57, right? 17 into 3. Sorry, 51. So sorry, 51. 51. So this is again 51 and 51. 51. 7, 8 3s are 8 6 are 48 plus 3, 51 lambda by 8 is equals to 51. So lambda is coming out as 8. Lambda is coming out as 8. If lambda is 8, mu is coming out as minus 3. So 8 and minus 3. Put the value, get the value of x vector. So x vector is what? Tell me in the chat box. Tell me in the chat box. Lambda is 8. 16 minus 3. So 13. Right? Lambda is 8. So minus 8 minus 6. Minus 8 minus 6 is minus 14, and okay, 8 plus 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. This is your x. So 13 ka square plus 14 ka square plus 11 ka square is nothing but 486 is your correct answer. JEE Main March attempt 2021. Yes? Fine. Alright, for all of those who have not liked this session, I have nothing to say. Okay. Vector or cross product. Okay, actually one more thing which I have to tell you about the dot product itself, about the properties of dot product. So there are a few properties, few identities which are left from my side. So that is what? You know that A dot A is what? A square. So can you just tell me about A plus B dot A plus B? So that would be A plus B whole square, right? A dot A is what? A square. Then A dot B, B dot A. So plus 2A dot B plus B square. That's how you calculate. Plus actually magnitude of B square, right? Okay. Third is what? A plus B dot A minus B. So that would be A square minus B square. If I am writing A, that means magnitude of A. Fourth would be A plus B plus C ka whole square dot A plus B plus C is equals to A plus B plus C whole square, and that would be A square plus B square plus C square is equals to, plus 2A dot B, B dot C, C dot A plus 2A dot B plus B dot C plus C dot A. And again, the second part, maybe B part, you can call it as B part. So that is A minus B whole square is equals to A minus B, magnitude of A minus B square, A square plus B square minus 2A dot B. This is not the normal product. This is the dot product. This is also the dot product. This is also the dot product. Yes? Okay. This is the identities of dot product, identities related to dot product. Now let's just move on to cross product directly, quickly. Cross product, yes, cross product. So you all know, right, what is cross product? I am talking about two non-zero A vectors A and B again. Two non-zero vectors A and B again, right? So A cross B is nothing but A, B, sine theta, n cap, right? So you have A vector, you have B vector, right? By right hand rule, A cross B is what? A cross B is a vector which is perpendicular to both the vectors A and B, and the direction is what? Like this, A cross B towards you, right? What is this n cap? So n cap is this vector basically which is towards you, unit vector which is towards you, because we are talking about A cross B. So this is your n cap. Getting my point? And this is your theta. So A cross B, right? Yes. very important point which I would like to tell you, which is very, very important for your JEE Main 2024, which is a vector. In the question it is given that this is the golden statement. Are you getting my point? Golden statement, my dear students. A vector which is perpendicular to A vector and B vector is given by what? Lambda times A cross B. Lambda times A cross B. Right? And if I talk about the unit vector perpendicular to both A vector and B vector, what would be the value? Plus minus A cross B magnitude of A cross B. Yes? Are you getting my point? Vector product or cross product? Right? Yes? Let's just dig more into this particular cross product. The properties of cross product. So if you have, let's say, A cross B, I have already told you A cross B is a vector whose magnitude is what? AB sine theta, and direction is what? Perpendicular like this. Okay, so A cross B's direction is what? Towards you. But what about B cross A? B cross A is nothing but, so A cross B. Now B cross A. So you have to put this on B, go towards A. B cross A. Can you see that B cross A? Now my thumb is towards this smart board. My thumb is towards this board. So can you see A cross B is towards you and B cross A is away from you. Right? So the only thing which is differing is direction. Right? And the direction are exactly opposite. So that means A cross B and B cross A have same magnitude but opposite direction. That is first thing. Now A cross A. So you see that A cross A. So A cross A would be what? A and then sine 0 degree n cap. Can you see sine 0 degree would be 0? That means A cross A is 0. Right? So whenever you see there is an angle of 0 degree or 180 degree involved, that means the cross product of two parallel vectors is 0. You can clearly see cross product of two parallel vectors, whether it is like or unlike. Because sine 0 degree is also 0, sine pi is also 0. So cross product of two parallel, or we can say two like or unlike vectors, both will be equal to 0, and A cross B plus C, you can directly expand, distribute this A cross B plus A cross C. And for a scalar, if you have any scalar, suppose you have 3A cross B, you can actually write 3 times A cross B. Because this is not addition, this is cross product. Are you getting the properties? Are you getting the properties? Acha, tell me one thing. If I say that A cross B is 0, what will you say about this? What will you say about this? By the way, A and B both are non-zero. It is also given to us. A and B are non-zero. It is given to us. A and B are non-zero. So if A cross B is 0, that means that sine theta is 0. Right? Because A and B are non-zero. That means only sine theta is the culprit. That would be 0. Sine theta 0 means, ma'am, theta could be either 0 or 180 degree. Again, ma'am, same thing which you told us, that both the vectors are parallel vectors, be it like or unlike, but sure they are parallel vectors. Okay, that simply means, now this is very, very important, that you can write it as A vector is equals to lambda times B vector. That is the condition of parallel vectors which I taught you. Yes or no? This is very, very important, very, very important. The moment you see cross product of two things 0, parallel vectors, and the moment you say parallel vectors, A is equals to lambda times B vector. Will you be able to write this? I don't want to listen parallel vectors. Right? If I ask you A cross B 0, don't say parallel vectors. What will you say is A is equals to lambda times B vector. Because 90% of the students will definitely say, okay ma'am, parallel vectors, but there are very few students which will write this particular statement after this. Are you getting my point? Yes? Okay. No coplanarity. Coplanar, what is coplanar? I have not taught you coplanar thing. Okay. So, yeah, I already taught you this. A is perpendicular to B, theta is 0 or pi. A is, now one more thing that you should actually remember. A cross B 0, that means A is equals to lambda B, theta is either 0 or pi. Right? And if A and B are perpendicular, then sine 90 degree will be 0. So, AB sine theta will be gone. So, AB n cap. AB n cap. Yes? Okay. Properties of vector. Okay, okay. Now, A cross B is 0. Now, I am saying A cross B is 0. Okay. Now, there is a different thing. Now, if A cross B is 0, what can be the possibilities? Obviously, one possibility is, yes ma'am, 0 degree or 180 degree, A is equals to lambda B. But there are two more possibilities. Actually, let me just talk about those possibility. And the possibility is either A could be a null vector, because this time I did not tell you about non-zero condition. A could be 0 vector, right? If A is null vector, then A cross B would be 0. Or here B also could be 0, right? Either A is 0 or B is 0. Or if, okay ma'am, finally, if you say so that you're talking about non-zero vectors, then we can call it as parallel vectors. Yes, and this means A is equals to lambda times B vector. Yes. Now, will you be able to tell me about the I cross I? So, I cross I would be what? I, that is 1, magnitude of I into magnitude of I, sine 0 degree, again sine 0 degree is what? So, I cross I is 0. Again, J cross J is also 0. K cross K is also 0. Are you getting my point? I cross I, J cross J, K cross K is 0. What about I cross J? What about I cross J? So, I is this, J is this, I cross J. So, this is I, this is J. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, and this is your z-axis. So, I cross J is towards you, that is z-axis. I cross J is your k cap. So, you have to remember the cyclic order basically. So, I cross I, this to I know, this is 0. What about this? I cross J is k. So, I, then J, then K. This is cyclic order. I cross J, so you will get a K. J cross K, you will get an I. And then K cross I, you will get a J. Can you see that? This is a cyclic order. I, J, so you will get K. J, K, you will get I. K, I, you will get a J, cyclic order. Yes? Okay, properties of vector product. Then we have some more properties and very basic. So, if I talk about magnitude of A cross B, so that would be what? AB sine theta n cap whole magnitude. So, this would be what? A, then B, then sine theta. Magnitude of n cap is 1. N cap is gone. So, magnitude of A cross B, AB sine theta. Sine theta, if you calculate, that would be A cross B magnitude by magnitude of A, magnitude of B. Right? This property clear? Clear, clear, clear? Yes, yes, yes. Properties of vector product. And then, if you have two given vectors, I have already told you how to calculate dot product. A1, B1 plus A2, B2 plus A3, B3. What about the cross product? For cross product, you have this determinant method, right? I guess I am hoping that you all know this. And if you all know this already, I want you to solve this question. Find the value of A cross B quickly in 1 minute. In 1 minute. know what? I wanted to skip this part. But then let me just tell you, basically there are many students which will actually do the calculation error while doing this, because in between question, some or the other at some or the other point you will need to calculate the value of A cross B, right? There are some moments you have solved the previous year question of vector algebra and then you observe that I need to calculate the value of A cross B, and you do the silly mistake in calculating A cross B. Do not do that, because you know what, that is the clear differentiator. If you do the silly mistake, you will get -1. There are there are very few students who will do the perfect calculation, right? So be the differentiator one. Don't be that into that crowd where everybody is getting wrong answer, you are also calculating it wrong. Then what's the point? Okay, that's why I have kept this particular question very basic question, right? So I, J, K. 2, 2, -1, 6, -3, 2. Many students will give the incorrect answer. They all know how to calculate cross product. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows the algorithm of the problem. One who solves it without the calculation error will be the winner, will get +4. That's the only idea in mathematics, right? So it will be what? 2 2s are 4 plus 3. Sorry, 2 to the -3. So I cap. Can you see this is wrong? This is also wrong. What about this? 2 2s are 4 plus 6. So minus of 10 j cap and then -18 k cap. Option B, right? So now I will see that everybody in the chat box will give B, because I am doing only the cross product. The question is not involving other calculations, right? But when I ask you a question in which in between you have to calculate A cross B, many students will give incorrect answer of A cross B. Okay? So yes, so we have this. Let's just solve this question as well. Angle between A and B vector is given as theta. We need to figure out the value of sine theta. So you, okay, so A cross B will be equal to what? AB sine theta. Right? There are actually two ways to solve this question. You can solve it by cos theta as well. I am solving it by sine theta only. A cross B. So calculate the magnitude of A cross B. So that will be what? I, J, K. 1 -2 3 2 1 1. Let's just solve it. So -2 -3, so -5 comma. We have 1 -6, so -5, so that would be +5, because here we have a minus sign extra, and then 1 plus 4 is 5 again, right? Yes. So 5 I cap. Okay. So what is the magnitude? So 5, if you take common, minus I cap plus J cap plus K cap is your A cross B. What would be the magnitude of it? What would be the magnitude? So 5 will be out, √3. So 5 √3 is the magnitude. What is the magnitude of A? 9 plus 4. Actually 9 plus 5. So √14. What is the magnitude of this? √6 sine theta. Alright. So 5 √3. √14 is what? √2 √7, and this is √2 √6 is equals to sine theta. Tell me the value of, this is √2 √3. √2 √3. √3 gone. 5 by 2 √7 is the value of sine theta. Option C. Yes, cross product getting a little bit. JEE Main 2019, we have a question, and the question says you have A vector with you, you have B vector with you, and there is another vector which is C vector, such that A cross C plus B is equals to 0. A dot C is also given to you. You have to calculate C square. Over to you. I will give you 2 minutes to solve this question. Then I will intervene. Then I will interfere. Yes, solving it. Okay. So here A cross C is what? You can write it as minus B vector. Now square both the sides. Square both the sides. The moment you square both the sides, you will get what? Magnitude of A cross C ka square is equals to magnitude of minus B ka square. So here you will get A square C square sine square theta, and this is B, your B square, right? What you need to calculate is C square. Can you have the value of A square? So value of A square is nothing but 2. So 2C square sine square theta is nothing but B square. What is the value of B square? So B square, magnitude of B is root 3. So this would be what? 3, right? So yeah, so this is your first equation, right? What you need is C square. For C square, you will need the value of sine square theta. How do you get it? By this value, A dot C is given as 4. That means AC cos theta is given as 4, right? What you need is sine theta, right? Can you square this? Absolutely. So A square C square cos square theta is given by 16. You know the value of A square, by the way, if you have calculated. So it is 2C square 1 minus sine square theta is nothing but 16, right? What you can do is you can actually put the value of, so yes, 2C square minus, solve it. 2C square minus 2C square sine square theta is equals to 16. I am trying to get the value of sine square theta. So 2C square minus 16 upon 2C square is equals to sine square theta. And put the value over here. So 2C square minus 16 by 2C square, very easy question actually, is equals to 3. 2C square gone, 2C square is equals to 19. 2C square is equals to 19. So C square is coming out as option A, 19 by 2. Yes, I can see that. Very happy. I'm very happy. Actually, you know what? What do I see? I have seen some pattern. The moment I start the class, I give you some problems. Suppose I give very easy problems, I know you all will solve it. But if I give you JEE Main problem for the very first time in this session only, there are many few students who will be able to solve. Gradually, you build the momentum, and then you gradually the later questions you are able to solve it nicely. Many students are able to solve it. I can see that, right? So I believe that this is because of the momentum, right? You start getting into this, you start being aware, alert, you start being focused, and then gradually you get to the answer nicely. Yes, what does that mean? That means that you need some warm-up actually. So starting 1 hour 45 minutes is just a warm-up, and then you get into it, and then you kill it, you nail it, right? Okay, all right. So here we have Lagrange's identity. Basically, Lagrange's identity, I find it very funny. No offense, I actually like this mathematician a lot. This mathematician has given a lot of things, a lot of beautiful things, amazing things, mind-boggling things. But then this Lagrange's identity is actually a scam, I believe. Basically, what Lagrange's did is, they have told you the obvious thing. I'll show you what. So what Lagrange's is saying is, okay, A dot B is AB cos theta. You will also find it very funny. AB cos theta, okay. Then Lagrange's says that A cross B magnitude is what? AB sin theta. Right? What Lagrange is doing, can you see? Can you figure out what I'm trying to do? I am actually trying to square and add, because the moment you square and add the right hand side, it will create A square B square cos square theta, A square B square sin square theta. You take common A square B square, you will get cos square theta plus sin square theta, and that would be 1. So he has used a very basic thing, which is cos square theta plus sin square theta is equals to 1, and given an identity. And you know what, right now here we are sitting and we are studying this identity by his name. So basically What he has done is low effort but high output. Low effort, he did not put any effort in this, right? He did not even invented sin square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1, didn't he? No. But what he did is very easy thing he did, okay? So he was, you can call it in Hindi we call it jugadu, smart work. He did smart work, not the hard work. Square it. A dot b ka square plus magnitude of a cross b ka square is equals to what? On the right hand side, what is happening? A square b square cos square theta plus a square b square sin square theta. So this would be what? A square b square only, because cos square theta sin square theta will be 1. So that means what? Dot product ka square plus cos product ka square will be equal to a square b square. This is your Lagrange's identity. Okay, Black Caps is saying there is similar thing has happened in physics as well. 4 physics law combined and called it Maxwell's law. Lol. Yes. Okay. So this is what Lagrange's identity, and do not underestimate Lagrange's identity. Now this is an alpha question. Actually this is like alpha star star star. That is a very easy question. Just basic Lagrange's and one step answer. One step answer. One step answer. Who will give me the answer? Apply Lagrange's. So dot product square plus cross product square is equals to a square b square. Quickly, quickly, quickly. So dot product ka square, we don't know. We have to calculate this. Plus cross product ka square would be 48 is equal to a square, which is 14, and b square, which is 6. So a dot b whole square is nothing but 84 minus 48. 636. Yes, JEE Main 2023. You know what? These are the type of questions that you should not miss. And you know what? How will you not miss it? Ask me. Ma'am, okay, you are saying do not miss these type of questions, do not miss these type of questions. But how am I not supposed to miss it? How am I not supposed to miss it? So for that, I have already told you this strategy, which is alpha, beta, gamma strategy. So the moment you get the question paper, 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, scan the paper, mark, target 7 questions, 6 to 8 questions basically. So 6 to 8 questions will be marked as alpha, and you need to target only those 6 to 8 questions. Once you are done with that 6 to 8, and these are the type of questions which are 6 to 8 questions. Are you getting my point? So 6 question, 24 marks. You know what? How much time will it take to solve these kind of questions? Just tell me. 15 seconds, 20 seconds, maximum like 50, 60 seconds. Not more than that. This is literally free marks. Yes. But you know what, Black Caps? There are many students who have left this question. Why? Because they are not reaching that question. They are not able to see that question. They are struggling with some random difficult questions. Do not do that. You're struggling with difficult questions and you're coming home and you're like, oh, this was the easy question, right? So for that we have a strategy, alpha, beta, gamma. Within 10 seconds you identify, give that time, identify it. Okay. Next question we have again from JEE Main 2023. JEE Main 2023, and which says A vector is this, B vector is this, C vector is in such a way that C dot A cross B plus 25 is equals to 0. Okay. A and B vectors are given to us. A and B vectors are given to us, right? A and B vectors are given to us. C vector is not given to us. A and B are given. So can we actually calculate A cross B? The moment I'll be able to calculate A cross B, Then what I can do is I can actually assume this as C vector, which is xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. And I will get an equation by using this. I'll get an equation in x, y and z, right? Because I know the value of A cross B, I'll be able to calculate, right? Okay. And one more equation, which is this. This is very actually easy. You know C vector. So this will be what? X plus y plus z is equals to 4. So now you already have an equation in x, y and z, right? One equation you will get from this, and the next equation is projection of C vector on A vector is 1. Okay. Projection of C vector on A vector is 1. That means C dot A upon A vector is given as 1, right? What is A vector? A vector is already given to us. A is this 4, 3. So C vector, so x 4x plus 3y by 5 is given as 1. So now you have 4x plus 3y is equals to 5. Second equation in x and y. First equation in x and y, right? You need third equation. For that, calculate A cross B. So A cross B is what? Now is the time you should calculate A cross B without any calculation error, right? Without any calculation error. So A cross B. So A is what? 4, 3, 0. Sorry, A cross, yes. And B is what? 3 minus 4, 5. This is 4. Yes, 4. Now this is 3 5s are 15. 15, comma. This is what? 5 4s are 20. 20. 5 4s are 20 minus 0, right? And minus 16 minus 9 is what? Minus 25. So this is, if I take 5 common, so you will have 3, 4, minus 3 as your A cross B, right? As your, or rather let it be this way, 15, 20 minus 25. So plug in the value in this. C dot A cross B is given as minus 25. So C dot A cross B is what? 15x plus 20y. 15x plus 20y minus 25z is equals to minus 25. 5 3s are 5 4s are 5 5s are 5 5s are. 3x plus 4y minus 5z is equal to minus 5. This is the third equation. Solve these three equations, you will get the answer. Minus 20 you are saying? Okay, yes, minus 20. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Minus 20 it is. So yes, minus 20. Right? Okay. What should we do now? What shall we do? You have x plus y plus z and okay. So what I can do is, I can actually multiply this equation with 5. So 5x plus 5y plus 5z is given by 5 4s are 20. Add these two, you will get what? 8x plus y is equal to 15, right? So this is, now solve these two. How to solve these two? By multiplying 2 in this. So 8x plus 6y is equals to 10. 8x plus y is equals to 15. Right? Subtract these two. You will get what? 5y is equals to what? Minus 5. So y is coming out as 1. Y is coming out as minus 1. The moment you see y as minus 1, so x is coming out as 2. Right? X is coming out as 2. X is 2, y is 1. So 2 minus 1 plus z is equals to 4. So you will get actually z is equals to 3. Z is coming out as 3. So now you know the value of C vector. Right? What is the value of C vector? So x is what? 2, then minus 1, then 3. 2, minus 1 and 3. The question is asking you to calculate what? The projection of C on B. B is what? 3 minus 4, 5. Projection of C on B. is what? C dot B 6 plus 4 plus 15 whole upon square root of 9 plus 16 plus 25, and that would be 25 by root 50. By the way, root 50 is what? 5 root 2. So this would be 5 by root 2. 5 by root 2 is option A. Have a look. Let me know whether you are getting the same answer or not. Right? So I'll give you the algorithm. A is given, B is given, C dot A cross B is given as minus 25. So can you calculate A cross B? Yes, ma'am. So we have calculated A cross B, which is this, and assumed C vector is x, y, z. Now A cross B you have, C vector you have, just make a dot product, you will get a beautiful equation in x, y and z. So this is the equation in x, y and z. That is one thing. Along with that, you have, okay, another equation which says dot product of C with this is 4. That means x plus y plus z is coming out as 4. Another thing, projection of C on A is given as 1. So this is the thing, C dot A is equals to this. So this is one more equation. 3 equations, 3 unknown you need to solve. Yes, this is an easy question. Yusuf is saying, oh my god, I can solve JEE Main question. You know, Yusuf, you'll be able to solve many JEE questions actually. You just need to, the identification is the key. Identification is the key. You need to identify 6 to 8 questions which are from your league. Are you getting my point? 6 to 8 questions will definitely be there which you will be able to solve it. You know what? If you solve 6 questions, straight 24 marks. If you solve 8 questions, 32 marks. Not a bad score, because at 55 marks, you are getting 99 percentile. So 8 questions correctly, 32 marks. 10 questions correctly, 40 marks. Are you getting my point? So 13 questions, your target should be 13 questions, right? So 6 to 8 is doable, easily doable, without any effort, just the identification, just by mastering the identification, the art of identification. And then next 5 to 6 questions, once you have solved 6 to 8, you need to target next 5 to 6, which will be basically little bit difficult. For that you need some hard work, some push, right, which you all are doing. I know you are doing. So identify those 5 medium level question, moderate level question, and you are done, right? Yes. Okay, all right. Again, another question from JEE Main March 2021. You know what? This question is absolutely stunning question, and I will give you actually 2 minutes. I won't be able to just jumping onto this question. Why? Because I want you to solve it. I want you to apply some brains, and you know what? Okay, I'm not gonna say anything. Just solve it. Just solve it. Stunning question actually. Actually, the moment I saw this question today, I was like, oh my god. Okay, this is the question. We are almost done with today's session. I will need 15 to 20 minutes more, and then you can go have your dinner and chill a little bit for 5-10 minutes, do your routine stuff. Some of you are early riser, they can sleep as well. Some of you are going to study late night, they can study as well. So just 15 to 20 minutes. All right, shall I reveal? Okay, this question actually based on your alertness and observation skills. Within a few seconds, you will be able to get the answer. Listen to me carefully. The question says, A and B be two non-zero vectors perpendicular to each other and magnitude of A and B are equal. Okay. Two non-zero vectors perpendicular to each other, magnitudes are equal. Okay. And one more thing which is given to you is A cross B is given as again A. Right? A cross B is given as A. Two non-zero vectors perpendicular to each other. Can you see? Can you see something? AB sine theta, sine 90 degree actually because perpendicular is equals to A. What does that mean? B, magnitude of B vector is coming out as 1. Magnitude of A vector is coming out as 1. Now read that question again. Read that question again. A and B be two non-zero vectors perpendicular to each other. Can I reform the question? Can I again say it in such a way that A and B are perpendicular vectors, or A and B are unit vectors as well? A and B are unit vectors which are perpendicular to each other. A and B are unit vectors which are perpendicular to each other, right? And okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark A vector as I cap, B vector as j cap, right? A vector, so this would be what? Tell me. So angle between these two vectors we need to figure out. Okay, so I plus j plus I cross j is what? K. This is your this vector and you have A vector. That means you need to figure out angle between these two vectors. Right? Right? Let us assume it. A very perfect scenario. This is the shortcut. So angle between I cap and this, you know, cos theta will be equal to dot product upon magnitude of both the product. Cos theta is this, so option B. Perfect. Cool. And here we have the next question from JEE Main 2020. JEE Main 2020 question which says A, B and C be three unit vectors such that A plus B plus C is equals to 0 and lambda is given by this. You know what? The moment I see these two quantities, the moment I see this and this, there is some correlation which I already taught you in today's session. What is that correlation? Tell me. A plus B plus C whole square is equals to what? A square plus B square plus C square plus twice of A dot B plus B dot C plus C dot A. A plus B plus C whole square is what? 0 is equals to 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 plus twice of, what is this? This is your lambda. This is your lambda. Can you see? Lambda beautifully is coming out as minus 3 by 2. Right? Okay. Alright. So lambda is what? Minus 3 by 2. That means option elimination. Incorrect. Incorrect. Out of these two, one can be correct. For that we need to talk about D vector. Actually D vector, which is A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A. Right? Now actually, so what we need is we need the interconversion values which we are going to get from A plus B plus C. So what we are going to do is we are going to basically take cross product of A on both the sides. So we already have A plus B plus C. If I take cross product on both the sides from A, what do I get? A cross A is 0. Then I am getting B cross A plus C cross A. That would be 0, right? Now I have A cross B over here. We have B cross A over A. Why not shift this B cross A? It will become negative. We will absorb the negative sign. It will become C cross A is nothing but A cross B. This is our very first thing. So C cross A, basically C cross A can be replaced and rewritten as A cross B, or vice versa. So this is nothing but A cross B only. In the next step, what we will do is we will take cross product by C vector. This time C vector. Take cross product by C vector. So A cross C plus B cross C, and C cross C will be 0. So plus 0, right? Plus 0 is equals to 0. So you can see that B cross C is nothing but what? Minus of A cross C, which would be what? C cross A. That means B cross C is nothing but what? So B cross C is also what? C cross A, and C cross A is A cross B. Basically A cross B, B cross C, C cross A, all three are equal. So C cross A can be replaced by this. This is also A cross B. This is also A cross B. So 3 times exactly A cross B is nothing but option D is matching. Option D is matching. Option D, right? C. Okay, actually, so sorry about this. Both are correct actually, right? No, both are not correct. This is incorrect. This is incorrect, guys. 3A cross C. No, this should be C cross A. This is incorrect. D is the correct, right? Who started with C? Dynamo, what is C? Yusuf, what is C? Correct. JEE Main 2020. Shall we move ahead? Shall we move ahead and talk about the geometrical interpretation of a vector product? So I will give you one parallelogram basically, and does it look like a parallelogram? No. Let me just draw a nice parallelogram. A, B, C and D. This is AB, this is BC, this is CD, right? Like this. All I'm asking you is to calculate the area of parallelogram, area of this parallelogram. Okay, so this is, let's say, A vector. The length will be what? A. This will be your B vector, right? All right, so area of parallelogram is what? Base into height. That's what we know. Base into height, right? What is base? Base is magnitude of A, or we can write it as AB. Simple, simple. Class 10 question. AB into height, let us assume it as P, and this is your theta, right? This is your AB into P. Now tell me something about P. Don't you think P upon this particular thing, which is, let's say, A, B, C, D, E, AE. So P upon AE, okay, not P. So P upon AD is nothing but sine theta, perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So P can be replaced by what? AD sine theta, right? So this will be AB into AD sine theta, right? If this is your B, then okay, AD is what? AD sine theta. So this would be, so AB can be written as A, AD can be written as B, and this is sine theta. Can you see that? AB, the length AB is nothing but magnitude of A vector, right? And AD is what? So magnitude of AD is magnitude of B vector. And sine theta is angle between that. AB sine theta is what? Can you tell me? Magnitude of A cross B. Magnitude of A cross B. So area of parallelogram is given by magnitude of A cross B, right? There is one more formula which is associated with area of parallelogram, and that is actually involves the diagonal of both the parallelogram. You know diagonal of both the parallelogram, right? So this diagonal is A plus B and this diagonal is A minus B. Right? This diagonal is A plus B. One diagonal of parallelogram is A plus B, another is A minus B. And the area of parallelogram when two diagonals are known to you, half D1 cross D2 is the formula. Yes? Getting it? Shall we start doing a question based on this, which was asked in JEE Main 2021? The question says you have A vector and you have B vector. Area of parallelogram is given as 8 root 3. You need to figure out the value of dot product A dot B, and you know what? I expect each one of you attending this live session at the moment to solve this question, get the exact correct answer. And each one of you can definitely do it. Very easy. Class 10 problem. Right? I know there is no vector in class 10, but we have just learned simple A cross B. You know how to calculate cross product. That's it. No big skills are required, no big concept is required, no other concept is required as well. Solve it. I am here. I am standing right here. Shall we do it? Okay, so A cross B is what? 8 root 3. For this, we have I, J, K. Right? 1 alpha 3, 3 minus alpha K. What is the value of alpha, by the way? So A cross B is what? Tell me. Alpha plus 3 alpha, that means 4 alpha I cap. 1 minus 9, so 1 minus 9. So plus 8 J cap, and then you have minus alpha, minus 3 alpha, so minus 4 alpha K cap. Right? So A cross B actually is what? Take out 4 common. So alpha comma 2 comma minus alpha. Right? Magnitude of A cross B is coming out as 4 will be staying outside, alpha square plus 4 plus alpha square. Right? Okay. Squaring both the sides, we will get A cross B ka whole square is equals to 64 into 3. Right? 4 4s are 16 basically. 4 4s are 16. Don't do the calculation error. 2 alpha square plus 4 is equals to 64 into 3. 16. 4s are 4 3s are 12. 2 alpha square plus 4 is equals to 12. Alpha square is equals to 2. No, actually 4. Alpha square is coming out as 4. Right? Alpha square is coming out as 4. Now, what is the value of A dot B? A dot B can be written down as what? 3 minus alpha square plus 3. So, that would be 6 minus alpha square. So, 6 minus 4 is what? 2. 2 is the correct answer of this particular question. I can see Siddharth, very nice. Black caps, amazing. Namrata, Dynamo, I hope you're not copying everybody's answer. है ना? I hope you're solving it in your notebook. Yes. Yusuf, very nice. 2 2 2. Mr. Gamers, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Then we have area of triangle. So let me just tell you about the formula for area of triangle. Suppose you have AB and C. So area of triangle would be equal to half AB cross AC. Right? What is AB? Suppose you have PV, position vectors, as A vector, B vector, C vector, right? Delta would be half. Now AB vector can be written down as B minus A cross AC vector would be C minus A, right? Half B cross C minus what? B cross A. So B cross C minus B cross A, right? Then A cross C with a negative sign. And we have A cross A which will be 0 eventually. This A cross A is 0. So this can be written down as A cross B. So A cross B plus we already have a B cross C plus this can be written down as C cross A without the negative sign. So half. By the way, if you have position vectors, right? Plane, no, plane is not there. If you have position vectors individually, then there is this formula, A cross B, P cross C, C cross A, right? But if you have AB vector and AC vector, then you will apply this formula. By the way, you just let me know which formula should be more important. You know what? In this, even if you have 3 vertices of any triangle, will you actually go out and find 3 cross product? This method is actually not very good because 3 cross product, there are high chances of making any mistake. I already told you, cross product, calculating cross product will actually increases your chances of making mistakes. What will you do is, even if you have A, B and C vector, try creating AB vector by B minus A, writing B minus A, and AC vector is what? C minus A. Now you have 2 vectors, AB and AC. One cross product, only one. One cross product, AB cross AC, half. Do not forget the half and you will get the answer. No tangent normals, right? So here we have our very own last topic, which says we need to solve vector equations for unknown vectors. You know what? From past few years, this type of question is definitely in each and every year. Past 3 to 4 years I am seeing. Plain topic is deleted. Yes, how many times shall I tell you? Plain topics is deleted, beta. So I have one example for you guys. So here what they say, what the question says is, so they give some random information, A vector, B vector, and there is an unknown vector involving A and B, and some information again. We need to calculate the R vector and eventually this. You know what? Replica of this question might come in JEE Main 2024 because each and every year these type of questions are coming. Okay, how to solve this, right? This is very popular actually. This is very popular. Okay. Now, now is the time actually. I am going to ask you something, and if you are able to reply it, then there is then I will understand that whether you are listening to me or not throughout the lecture. I have mentioned this a multiple of time in today's session, and I have specifically told you that this thing is important. I'll ask you, okay, so how to actually process this particular information? Who is going to tell me how to process this information? What to do about this information, right? For some people, they are not able to actually write down the next step or even think about proceeding even an inch. What to do? This is a blocker equation, right? So for that, you can see R is here, AB is here. R cross A minus R cross B is nothing but a 0. Take out R common, A minus B will be equal to 0. R cross A minus B is 0. Yes, there are some students which are able to tell me. When I ask you cross product is 0, the answer should not be parallel. Yes, what should be the answer? Answer should not be the parallel, because every student will tell me parallel. What should I do with this parallel thing? R vector is equals to lambda times A minus B. The one who will be able to write this down will crack this particular question. Yes, Yusuf. Now you are getting it. Right? Now everything is sorted. Right? R vector would be equal to lambda times A minus B. So A minus B is what? 2 minus 7 minus 5 minus 3 minus 1. So minus 4. 4 minus minus 6, 10. So this is your R vector. Now one more information given to you. R vector dot this vector is minus 3. So R dot 1 comma 2 comma 1 is minus 3. Use this piece of information to get the value of lambda. So minus 5 lambda times 1 minus 4 lambda times 2, 10 lambda into 1 is equal to minus 3, 13. Okay, so minus 5 plus 2 minus 3 lambda is equals to minus 3. Lambda is coming out as 1. The moment you see lambda as 1, you have your R vector, which is what? Minus 5 comma minus 4 comma 10. Now ask me anything related to R vector, you will get the answer. The exact question, no matter, you know what, I can't tell you how many times the same thing is coming in your JEE Main, right? Same thing, right? So R vector is with you. 5 2s are minus 10. Then you have plus, right? So minus 10. Then you have plus 15. Then you have plus 10. 5 is the correct answer. Oh, have I done it wrong? So 10, 4 3s are 12, 12. 4 3s are, so 12, 12. So 12 is the correct answer. Hema, I have already made a video for this 99 percentile 10 chapters. Go through that video till the very end, because in the end I have mentioned one action plan. Till the very end, one action plan. So I have already told you, revise through PYQs, target low input high weighted chapter, which I already told you in that video. Give mock test, be confident, and the target should be, the agenda should be improving small marks like plus 4, plus 8, plus 10 in each and every mock test, right? Okay, now we have the last section, right? 5 minutes we will be done with this particular chapter. Listen to me carefully, don't go, because this is again very important. Okay, so linearly dependent and linearly independent, right? So these two terms actually are very easy. This is very easy concept, but this, for students, this might come across as a very confusing topic. But you know what? I am here for you. I am here to clear your confusion once in all, right? Once, just listen to me, 2 minutes, you will be able to see that there will be no confusion, okay? So for two non-zero vectors, if you have two non-zero vectors, right? If you say that two vectors are linearly dependent, if you say that two vectors are linearly dependent, that simply means that two vectors are parallel vectors. It is as simple as that. The moment, it's just a term, just a random term. If two vectors are linearly dependent, what does that mean? That both are parallel vectors. That means A is equals to lambda times B, right? And if two are non-parallel vectors, then what do we call it as? Linearly independent vectors. Linearly independent vectors, right? Are you getting my point? Only for two vectors I am talking about. What about when three vectors form a system of linear dependence? When three vectors are involved, actually, suppose someone is telling me that, okay ma'am, so three vectors A, B and C are linearly dependent vectors. What does that mean? That simply means that A, B and C are coplanar vectors, right? So there are two ways to write about it. If three vectors are coplanar, then out of three, any one vector, let's say B vector, can be written down as XA plus YC by theorem in plane. Do you remember theorem in plane? I have already taught you. So this is the condition. Theorem in plane. When three vectors are coplanar, you can write theorem in plane. Third vector is in plane with rest two vectors. That's what I'm saying. Another way of writing it as A dot B cross C is equal to 0. This is your condition of coplanarity of three vectors. Condition of coplanarity of three vectors. Yes? Right? So if three vectors form a linearly dependent system, that means this. Okay? Or agar if someone says ABC are linearly independent, then what does that mean? That ABC are non-coplanar vectors. Linearly independent means non-coplanar, right? Now what about ma'am? 4 vector? What about 4 vector? 4 vectors. So for 4 vectors, actually 4 or more vectors are always linearly dependent vectors. 4 or more vectors always form linearly dependent. There is no concept of linear independence in 4 vectors. Right? Are you getting my point? So yes, that's what that was all about today's session. We are done with vector algebra now. And can you see that on your screen? Right? So we have a JEE test series whose link is already given in description box. You can see the series is absolutely free and it is computer based test. It is based on new syllabus. It is based on updated syllabus. Right? So JEE free test is already there. And then I already told you that VDPP, daily 5 questions, number of questions 10, basically daily 10 questions if you are able to solve in VDPP. So you'll be sorted actually. So one by one, drop by drop, you will build a whole ocean, right? Again, link is in the description box, right? So now, okay, one more announcement I need to make. So we had a session on 31st. 31st? Yeah, I guess 31st or 30th December, I'm not sure, but we had a session last week which got cancelled due to some technical glitch, and the session was what? Statistics, right? So it will be a very small session, like almost 1.5 hour session on statistics. So we'll cover whole statistics along with PYQs in this session, and that session is tomorrow, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I know the timings are 2 p.m. because I didn't get any slot. 6 p.m. we have another session, 9 p.m. we have another session. So I got 2 p.m. For the statistics. I know some of you guys have school, but then for all of those guys who are taking off or who are not having school tomorrow, do attend that statistics session of mine, and I'll see you tomorrow. This is me, Namrata, signing off. I'll see you all tomorrow at 2 p.m. sharp.